Hello and thanks for your company. I'm Joel Crean. Coming up tonight, Mental Health Week here in the Valleys, supporting those living with mental illness. We'll take a look around this place, the Dookie Emporium, as part of Tourism Month and ahead of the Military Vehicle Rally happening this weekend. A pair of dancers return home to the GV after a couple of years abroad and chugging home for charity after 3 long months on the road. But first, it's local news time. Here's Julie.
Thanks very much, Joel, and good evening to you at home. In news tonight, a man accused of leading police on several pursuits through Echuca, Rochester and even Bendigo has been remanded in custody. 28-year-old Jeffrey Black has fronted court in Melbourne, charged with dangerous driving among other traffic offences, and is also accused of burglary. He was arrested late last week after a collision with a police car and will be ordered back to the Magistrates Court later on in the month. The future of Shepparton's nursing and midwifery health program is at risk, according to the Australian Nursing Federation. The Nursing and Midwifery Board says it will stop funding the program, which offers advice and treatment to nurses who are battling mental health illness or addiction at the end of next year. The union says it'll be lobbying for funding to ensure the support service continues. And the board at North East Water has accepted the tender to build its new regional headquarters. The $8.1 million contract has been awarded to Zorna Construction. The new building will have a 5-star energy rating, and once it's opened about this time next year, it will eventually reduce operating costs. Stay with us, I'll have more headlines for you soon.
It's Mental Health Week, and as part of the program to raise awareness for those living with mental illness, a few people got together in Maud Street Mall to find Shepparton's best laugh. And Ashley Gardner was there.
It's Mental Health Week, an event aimed at increasing community understanding of mental illness and improving people's mental well-being. Across the region, a number of events are being held to shed light on mental illness. A GV Health and Art exhibition is on display, featuring the work of consumers, staff, carers and families. Consumer consultant Paul Jones says often the artwork gives an insight into how the consumers are feeling.
When people are manic, they're very bright and happy pictures, and when someone is depressed, they're gloomy and, well, you wouldn't want to look at them actually, some of them. But and some of them, you can see it in their pencil work, or brush strokes, they're fierce and violent. But when they're manic, they're calm pictures.
Mark Willis knows all too well about the importance of mental health services.
I was first diagnosed in 1982 and have had a number of crises and hospitalisations since then, and I want to make it really clear to people that these days the system is a much more humane and capable service than it was when I first started becoming involved in it, and I'd really like people to be aware that the services are quite effective and they're there to be accessed.
He says events like the art exhibition help to overcome the stigma.
The stigma of mental illness is something that I've experienced myself, and lately there has been a lot more discussion around it and a lot more understanding, I think, by people that it's not something you can that you can control, generally speaking, especially initial occurrences.
Meanwhile, the Mental Illness Fellowship has been running a number of events locally, and yesterday they were searching for Shepparton's best laugh.
We want to show that mental health isn't, all doom and gloom. It's not the end of the road, and there's light at the end of the tunnel for those who need help. We've got all our information services down here, and they can come, show us their laughter and maybe get some more information if they need it.
Gemma Marchant of the Mental Illness Fellowship Victoria says the event held at the Maud Street Mall was well received.
People are really, really positive about mental health. They're really, happy to get involved, which is brilliant from the times when it was not talked about and the stigma was very high. So today we've had people come up to us and get some more information and really get to know what we can offer them. So if we can help one person, that's one person we didn't help before. So we're really, really happy with today.
The search for Shepparton's biggest laugh isn't the only event being held as part of Mental Health Week. The Mental Health and Wellbeing Expo is on tomorrow night at the Shepparton Stadium.
So we've got a expo night happening. So we'll have lots of different community services having stalls there to show what they can also help people with. There'll be live entertainment there from a few different bands. The Congolese singers will be there, Jeffrey's Cabbage will be there. So there'll be lots of music, there'll be face painting for the kids. It'll be a really fun night to hopefully promote mental health in the community, and so people can come and find out what Shepparton actually can offer them and the local Greater Shepparton area.
On weeknights tonight, we are at the Dookie Emporium, and it's a pretty intriguing place. I found Sol Sutherland, who knows a little bit more about the story. Sol, tell us, what is the Emporium?
The Dookie Emporium's a large building which was the Dookie Farmers Cooperative building, and it was rebuilt in the 1950s in a deco style. And we arrived here a bit over 3 years ago and decided to do our second-hand trade here again after a bit of experience in that. And not only that, we've now moved into the cafe business and do fantastic food with a great aspect and view in Dookie.
So there's plenty to keep you entertained looking around the Emporium. What sorts of things have you got?
There's all sorts of pieces of history for sale. Australiana, well, the classic oak antiques and the retro 60s, 70s gear.
Now, did you know that last financial year visitors spent 663,000 nights in the Greater Shepparton region? And one of the events that's happening as part of Tourism Month this year is the Military Vehicle Rally happening this weekend, Sol.
Yeah, the Dookie Military Vehicle Rally got together about 3 years ago, so it's the third one we've had. It's a group of military history enthusiasts and vehicle collectors and historian people who like, well, sort of dressing up and driving their vehicles around and displaying them.
And there's a few vehicles, they'll be heading just over to the park over here, but there's also a swap meet this weekend?
Yeah, swap meet. Might even be an aircraft flyover. We might have some recreators in costume. Maybe a cannon or two firing.
Looking forward to that. That's coming up this weekend for the Military Vehicle Rally here in Dookie. We'll be back with more weeknights after the break.
Coming up, we catch up with local dancers Amanda Garner and Sebastian Costa as they bring their international skills home to the GV.
We travelled over there originally so we could pursue our competitive dance career.
And chugging on home after 3 months on the road raising money for bowel cancer research.
Added a few things like supercharger on it just to give it help it with better burning of fuel.
You're watching weeknights in Barma, Echuca and Seymour.
Prepare for battle.
The fast-track new season of Merlin. The legend begins 6:30 Sunday on 10.
At dealsdirect.com.au, you'll find a bargain in any department. Nostalgia Cake Pop Maker set just $39. And Sheffield Air Fryer and Multi-Cooker only $119. With fast, free shipping to most of Australia. Dealsdirect.com.au.
Mate, 85 litre capacity, fully insulated, fiberglass construction. I don't need ice for another 7 days. You need ice?
Grab all the good gear at BCF, like 25% off Cool Ice boxes. Grab 3 packs of Gulp soft baits, just $22. And how about this bait runner spin combo, just $1.99, save $50. BCF, Australia's greatest boating, camping and fishing store.
Being a new mum is amazing, but at 3 o'clock in the morning, it can be a little bit trying.
Sleeping priority is up here.
I use Nurofen because I trust it.
It's pulled out whenever there's a temperature.
Like this morning, she went back to sleep for me for another 2 hours, which is very valuable.
Day or night, Nurofen gets temperature back to normal 25 minutes faster than paracetamol and provides up to 8 hours of fever relief.
I know that if they're sick at night, it's going to get me through the night. Not just them, but me.
This summer, it must be love with the summer collection from Homeped. The new catalogue has the style, comfort and support you're looking for with over 40 new styles. Trudy, $139.95. Ashley, $129.95. and loaner $109.95. You could also win $500 towards your summer wardrobe. See the Homey Ped Facebook page for details. Loving my Homey Peds. Catalogue out now.
We took the softest dough and flattened it. We squashed lime, crushed chilies and patted down crispy chicken strips to create the sweet chili and lime flatbread. Made fresh to order at Red Rooster. It's flat out the best lunch around.
Sometimes I get a good feeling.
They've danced their way across the globe, but after 2.5 years away, Sebastian Costa and Amanda Garner are back home here in the Goulburn Valley, and they're ready to teach others what they've learned abroad. Take a look.
Ballroom dancers Amanda Garner and Sebastian Costa have arrived back in Shepparton after spending 2.5 years in the USA. The pair, who are also a couple off of the dance floor, headed abroad to learn from the best in the industry.
We travelled over there originally so we could pursue our competitive dance career, and we also took a lot of interest in teaching over there. So we got involved in a dance studio, and we've been doing a lot of teaching a lot of Americans, very different to Australians. But we've been getting involved in that and learning a lot about the competition scene over there.
The pair prefer Latin American but picked up a few new skills during their time in LA. They're eager to share the new styles with Shepparton, taking classes at Excel Dance Centre where Amanda started her training.
Yeah, actually there is quite a big range of dance styles in America that they don't do at all in Australia, so it was quite a change for us to learn those. And yes, there are many things like we're doing the hustle and American smooth and all those kind of nightclub dances that we don't do here at all in Australia. They're quite common in America. Most social clubs do them all the time, so it's something that we thought we could come back here and, you know, especially starting in Shepparton, show to the community and maybe in Melbourne as well.
I was actually quite proud to sort of say Shepparton will be the first place in Australia where we teach these new styles. So no, it's I think people here, judging by our open day, which we just recently had, really enjoyed the new styles, looking very eager, so we're happy to teach them.
Amanda and Sebastian have an impressive list of titles under their belts. They're 3-time Australian Professional Dance Sport Championship finalists and have also garnered plenty of attention in the US.
We're constant finalists in the US, also in Australia. I think we have a few titles. I'm not going to list them through. I'm not into that, but yeah, we're making finals in Australia in the Latin American style. So yeah, competitively we've had our successes, we've had our failures, but you know what? You learn from both, so it's good.
And while there's plenty of interest in ballroom dancing locally, Sebastian says he'd like to see a few more guys have a go.
We're very strong in Australia for football and sports, but if we could get some of those guys in here, it's amazing what you learn in dance about your body that you may not learn in all sports. So come on guys, come in, we need you. There's lots of girls here to dance with, so.
Darren Giles, Chris and Wendy Sessions have just returned from an epic tour of the top end, riding all 9,000 Ks on board Chugger, a vintage 1974 Chamberlain tractor. And they raised thousands of dollars along the way for bowel cancer research in Australia, as Brendan Savage reports.
Slow but steady. That's probably the best way to describe the pace that good old Chugger took through Central Australia. Chris and Wendy Sessions drove Chugger through towns like Moolameen, Birdsville, Mount Isa, Quilpie and Cobar, getting more than a few odd looks on the way.
I think in hindsight what we should have done was charged a gold coin donation for photos. We probably would be up to 50,000 by now, I would imagine.
Chris lovingly restored the 1974 Chamberlain tractor especially for the journey.
Added a little few things like supercharger on it just to give it help it with better burning of fuel, but yeah, we were averaging only about 2.9 Ks to the litre.
It may have been a slow trip, but that gave them plenty of time to raise money for Bowel Cancer Australia.
My original target was $10,000. We've raised probably by now close to 26,000, which we were pretty stoked about.
It has been pretty close to the #1 killer of a lot of people and affects of friends, our friends, cousins, families, your families, whatever. And we decided it affects everyone in Australia.
The pair met some of those folk affected by bowel cancer during their voyage.
On our first day, we met a gentleman who he was in tears because he'd recently buried his sister from bowel cancer, and if we're able to help one person out of all this, well, we'll feel pretty good about it. But if we help more people, that'll be excellent.
The funds that the sessions have raised will help plenty